development partners, including the United Nations Technical Agencies, World Health Organization, United Nations Children's Fund, World Food Programme, and the Micronutrient Initiative. Oversight responsibility for the project is vested in the Technical Committee, TC, a superordinate cross-sectoral body at the national level that serves as the nerve center for the regulation of all activities supporting the project. At the regional level, a Regional Advisory Committee, RAC, chaired by the Regional Coordinating Director of the Regional Coordination Council, streamlines district sub-projects, provides clearance and technical assistance, and reviews performance. At the district level, the project is coordinated by the District Advisory Committee, DAC, chaired by the District Chief Executive. At the community level, there's the Community Implementation Committee, whose role is to mobilize the community, facilitate the selection of community growth promoters, mobilize the traditional birth attendants, and regulate the monthly growth promotion sessions and home visits. The community growth promoters and traditional birth attendants are the principal agents of change in the project. To measure the success and ensure accountability, a comprehensive monitoring and evaluation system has been designed to capture outcomes from the bottom up. At the level of individual households, the growth chart serves as the principal tool for monitoring and taking action to improve child growth. Community growth promoters are the custodians of this information. Community and district level progress data is collected monthly by the Community Growth Promoters and District Director of Health Services. The District Advisory Committee shall send quarterly and annual progress reports to the Technical Committee to be incorporated in the quarterly financial statements as agreed between the cooperating partners and the government.
Initially, we had a purely paper-based system where we send registers down to the communities, and then the volunteers, as they do the weighing sessions, will fill them, and then it will be returned to the health workers. And we had some challenges, as I say, because in some of the communities, the volunteers were not so literate. So then there were some problems with following up on the reporting. And then the health workers were expecting the volunteers sometimes to bring the reports. So we had quite a backlog of data that, the work that was done was not reflected in the report that we had. So then we changed the approach. So we decided that we will use what we call electronic registers. So what was done was that we made registers that were like carbonated, so that after every growth session, they will just tell what they've done and send it to the district, and then it will be entered. We develop an electronic register online that it will be entered online, so that like real time we can have the data, so that it will improve the transmission of the data to us at the national, regional level, so that we can at least be on top of the work that have been done. Because basically that was the challenge initially, that they did a lot of work, but we did not have data to prove what the work that they've done because the transmission was delayed. So with that electronic register that we created and we are rolling out now, and in fact that was one of the good things that the Nutrition, Malaria and Child Survival Project has brought, that we are tightening in on the whole issue of collecting what we call transactional data using electronic means, and we are pursuing that as part of the overall improvement of the health information management system. So that's also an added advantage that the Nutrition, Malaria, Child Survival Project has brought, that improvement in the reporting. As we are improving the reporting in that side, it is affecting, is having a health system improvement effect, which I think we are going to move on and utilize. Yeah.
The Nutrition and Malaria Control for Child Survival Project represents a decisive intervention by government to break the vicious cycle of malnutrition and malaria, which have had a significant inverse implication for productivity and national development. The cruciality of the NMCCSP to meeting national goals and aspirations makes it imperative for the project to be sustained beyond 2013 to ensure that the debilitating effect of the two conditions on the nation's human resources and economy are significantly mitigated.
The hypothesis for the project is that children, weighing them regularly helps you to identify those who are faltering in growth and are at risk of becoming malnourished, who will be at risk of dying. But when children become malnourished, 50% of child mortality, the underlying cause is malnutrition. So that if you can address malnutrition, then you are saving children. So although we may not have, let's say, any impact study done that we can say that, oh, this study shows that this number of deaths have been prevented. By looking at the data, by preventing malnutrition, we are preventing death. And I think that is the main thing that we think that the benefit that this project has brought, that by the regular weighing, you identify children early enough so that they don't really go down into malnutrition. You pick them up while they are growth, because if 3 months a child's growth is flat, then you have a problem. Then you need to intervene. So that if you do not have a session that you are regularly doing this, then you lose the child. So that by the time you realize that the child has got kwashiorkor, and then sometimes it's too late.
Some time back, we were recording the case of fatality in children under 2 to be about 3%. But of late, we realized that it's just slightly over 1%. So with this looking into the future, we are certain that we will even come down further, less than 1%.
Because we are targeting the vulnerable, pregnant women and children under 2 years, we are preventing a lot of deaths and illness. When we treat pregnant women during pregnancy, which is routine in our antenatal care, we prevent malaria from having an effect on them and the unborn child. So the children can be born with a better birth weight. And then also for the first 2 years of life, if we are able to ensure good nutritional status for the children, then we'll have a reduction in what we call stunting, chronic malnutrition. We'll have a reduction in it. So we'll have people who are generally averagely taller. It's true that some people will be short, but at least they will not be suffering from stunting. The short will be genetically short and not because of malnutrition. And stunting itself has a big toll on development, because people, apart from the short stature, they may have also problems with cognitive, like the brain's development and intelligence, etc. So we are looking at improving the quality of life, or the quality of the children and the pregnant women. They are going to survive, the children are going to survive and do better in school and also have their full potential. People who have gone through this experience, it goes down and it helps in development. I think that this has a potential of helping us to develop as a nation.
As I throughout this project, I have learned that men are very, very interested in the health and care of their children, and also the wives. You get to a community, you want to talk to mothers, and then the men come and ask why they've been left out. They are very interested. And then you have to maybe form a group and talk to men, and they tell you very interesting things. And sometimes when the women are not going by the discussions we've had with them, they make sure they're doing it. If a mother wants to give water, for example, before the child is 6 months, some men will stop you that, but the health worker told you that this is not good and that breast milk has enough water. So why are you doing this? Other babies have done it and nothing happened. Why don't you try? You get men encouraging mothers to go by some of the discussions and agreements we've had with them. And again, the project has also taught volunteers, health workers, caregivers. We are not to give instructions to caregivers, but we negotiate and reach agreement on the things that they can do. You find out what they are already practicing and build on that. every woman must be doing something right. Even if she's breastfeeding and giving other foods at an earlier age, at least she's breastfeeding. Congratulate her on that and then encourage her to stop the other thing. Let her get the benefits of why you don't need food early or before 6 months. Everybody wants the best for their children. Yes, so they'll try and do it. And so again, this negotiation bit, instead of advising, you counsel, you reach an agreement, you inform the mother, and they learn through that. They will be more willing to practice what you agree than when you tell them what to go and do, when they might not have the means of doing it.
As advised by an ancient African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. So does it take a community to raise a child's health and nutrition. Everyone in every district, every community and every household in Ghana is a stakeholder in the Nutrition and Malaria Control for Child Survival project. Fathers, husbands, pregnant women, mothers, in-laws, family members, mosques, churches and community leaders. The Nutrition and Malaria Control for Child Survival project empowers communities to take responsibility for their own health to ensure the survival of the future leaders. It shall also track the indicators of malnutrition, such as underweight and improper feeding habits. These activities shall involve the organization of monthly growth promotion sessions and follow-up home visits to ensure maximum coverage of the target women. It is important to emphasize that the project is designed to be a hugely decentralized intervention which operates on service at your doorstep basis. The growth promotion sessions are therefore organized at the community level to promote easier accessibility, promptness of attendance, and better socialization among the mothers and the caregivers. The session shall carry out nutrition promotion and monitoring activities, including monthly weighing of children between 0 to 23 months, recording and plotting of the weight records on the growth chart, counseling of mothers, health and nutrition education for pregnant women and mothers of children between the ages of 2 and 4 years, vitamin A supplementation for children between the ages of 6 months and 4 years, and new mothers within 8 weeks after delivery, and deworming of children between 12 months and 4 years. The home visit segment of the project shall have the community volunteers undertake follow-up visits to the homes of the mothers who miss a growth promotion session and those whose children do not show signs of weight gain. These visits afford the volunteers the opportunity to engage the mothers in a more personalized discussion in an attempt to understand and proffer suggestions against the social and economic issues hindering their participation in the growth promotion sessions and their efforts to nourish their children. A careful analysis of the cultural context of child raising in Ghana identifies socio-gender dynamics which could be exploited to ensure the success of the NMCCSP. Traditionally, child raising in Africa is a communal responsibility. Unfortunately, it is a responsibility hugely regarded as feminine. Tapping into the strengths of African communal values and simultaneously reversing the weakness inherent in traditional African perception about child raising, the NMCCSP inscribes husbands, male partners, mothers, mothers-in-law, and family members as major stakeholders in the project.
Now, fathers or men, well, let me just say men in particular, definitely would play a very big role. If you look at the child's nutrition, it starts from pregnancy. So that is where the husband's role is very crucial. Because if you find out that the mother is malnourished during the pregnancy, what type of baby would even be born? So up to the age of 2, you'd find out it is quite pertinent that the husband comes in. Now what the husband can do is be able to encourage the wife to attend antenatal clinics, make sure that at least whatever nutritional advice that the woman is given is taken up. He, depending on who is the main provider of wealth in the house, that's normally the husbands. They will have to conform to whatever things in preventing the woman from getting sick, because the woman gets malaria in pregnancy, definitely it goes to affect the baby. Assuming all these things are done, and then it comes to birth, the child is born, definitely we have what we call exclusive breastfeeding. And so if they manage to get the breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding, really what they call going on very well, the mother too is also having very good nutrition. That means the father is making sure that things are provided right on time in the right quantities. And so it is just not that, yes, the woman is the one who has to eat the leftovers and everything in the, what do they call it, in the house, but that they should be able to get enough this thing. Now after the 6 months, it is he again who will then have to able to support the woman to be able to provide for this child as the child grows up, and critically up to the age of 2. It means that all in all, because the husband is the decision maker, and once the decision maker is brought on board to understand the good objectives of why children should have good nutrition, then definitely you are going to get a substantial part of our problem sorted out.
The husband and the nursing wife. I think even before pregnancy, I want to take the opportunity here to appeal to those men who refuse responsibility for pregnancy. Chebehi, no father. It affects the woman, and that even affects how she makes breast milk to feed the newborn. They need that comfort, the support, so that they get the confidence. But when she's alone, and especially if they happen to be young, it becomes traumatic for them, and they are not able to cope. So father should be there, accepted responsibility, and give support. You don't have to make the nursing mother or the woman who is lactating do all the housework. And when it comes to adding other foods to breast milk after 6 months, what we call complementary feeding, every father should be able to feed the child with the right kind of food, maybe prepared by mother. So fathers can help in this way. The responsibility of families to make sure that the woman who is breastfeeding is well fed, not to make breast milk. That is the wrong message. Breast milk is made when the baby suckles more, but the mother needs to eat well for her own strength, to recover, to restore strength, and maybe to prepare her body for the next pregnancy. And families and fathers should make sure that this is available. If mother is not supported, she may need to go back to work very early after delivery, which might not be the best for her. So if she gets the support, she'll be comfortable at least to be home, do exclusive breastfeeding, and not leave the child and run out to go and have some economic ventures. So families need to think of these things when we are thinking of the rapid or good growth and development for the child under 2 years.
Essentially, the project reinstates responsibility for the nutritional well-being of child and mother back in the communal psyche, encouraging optimum collaboration in and ownership for the activities that will ensure their health. Involvement in the project goes beyond the communal to embrace a multiplicity of sectors, including international, national,